Hi all, it's Erzincem, welcome to my channel and welcome to the very first episode of my lifestyle playlist. Today I'm here with my friend Stephan and we're going to talk to him about how he quit his job and traveled the world and what kind of recommendations he would give you if you have the same plans. Stephan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thanks. How about you?
Yeah, I'm great. Always great when I see you. Stephan, since the audience doesn't know you, could you introduce yourself a little bit to the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Stephan. I'm 29 years old. And roughly 2 years ago, I decided to quit my job and go traveling for about 2 years. I went to Southeast Asia and to Australia mainly.
Okay, I guess some of you guys would like to know that as well. Maybe you have the same motives, but what was your motive behind leaving everything where you were before and then go?
Well, basically it was, I was just curious and I just wanted to get to know a new culture, going to a new country, probably learning a new language, and especially also going out of my comfort zone.
Did you learn a new language?
A little bit, yeah. You learn a few words in every country, basically.
Cool. Was it also the first time you went out of your comfort zone?
No, it wasn't. I moved around quite a lot before I went traveling from France to Germany, from Germany to Spain, and also used to live in America for a little while. So I was used to get around, but going from a Western culture to an Asian culture is totally different.
Yeah, I definitely understand. And some of you guys, if you have the same idea of traveling Southeast Asia, you might want to listen to it even better right now. Why did you choose Southeast Asia?
Well, first of all, it's beautiful countries over there. Then the climate is really nice. And also budget-wise, it's quite cheap to travel Southeast Asia, so I thought it's the perfect way to start.
Okay. So if you're planning to travel Southeast Asia, here's how it's done. Could you walk us through the planning process?
Well, first of all, it's really important that you have a travel insurance. For example, if you go traveling, you gotta make sure that the countries you're traveling to is covered. And what I did, I went to the doctor and to the dentist to check everything out because you don't want to get in trouble in a third world country, for example.
I think nowadays you're just allowed to call them developing countries.
Alright, but I know.
But never mind, we're not going to mind that. So after the travel insurance, what's the next step?
The next step, which is really important, and you find all the information online, is to get the vaccination for the area you are traveling to.
Do you need certain vaccinations for certain countries?
Yes, you do. It's really important to get the information from your doctor before you go traveling to get the right vaccinations for the area you go to. And they're usually divided between South America, Africa and Asia. What kind of vaccinations you should get.
Well, that's good to know. But also important, does every doctor offer you vaccinations?
Yes, they do. I mean, sometimes they need a little bit of time of notice to get the right vaccination in their clinic, but every doctor is allowed to give you a vaccination and also to give you the stamp in your little vaccination passport, basically.
So you also need to take your vaccination passport with you on your travels?
Yes, you do.
Okay, don't forget that. So, first of all, travel insurance, second of all, the vaccinations. After those two steps in the process, what would be the logical next step?
Well, the logical next step is to get your equipment together, to choose a backpack, and then to decide based on the climate you're traveling to, what kind of clothes you want to take. And apart from this, all that is left is to book your flight and go traveling.
Traveling with a backpack for over 2 years. How much clothes would you need for 2 years?
Well, the amount of clothes doesn't really matter because you're gonna switch clothes all the time anyways. You're either gonna break clothes, you're gonna lose them, you're gonna give them away. So it doesn't really matter how much you take with you. And if you travel Asia, clothes over there are so much cheaper than in Europe. So I recommend to only take the necessary stuff and then buy everything over there.
If you're saying travel, take only the essential things with you. How about hygienic products?
Well, if there are like really specific products which you wouldn't get in the country you're traveling to, then sure, take them. But in Asia, for example, I had all I needed. I found everything I needed, so it was never an issue.
Okay, that's good. And did you have one of those very big backpacks with you?
No, I had a quite small one. I had 42 liters in total. which was sometimes not enough, but you always make it fit by squeezing everything in.
What kind of backpack do you recommend?
Well, me for myself, I used a really simple Deuter 42 liters backpack with only access from the top and the bottom, which was the biggest mistake ever.
Okay.
I totally recommend get a backpack with zippers also in the middle, so you really can access your backpack from everywhere. Then really important also is that it's waterproof and comfortable to wear. Size-wise, it's always a personal matter. 42 liters was a little bit too small in my opinion. I would recommend at least 50, even up to 60 would be good. And everything over 60 I think is just too heavy and too bulky to carry around every day.
Yeah. We also should keep in mind, as Stephan said in the beginning, that if you need new clothes, you can buy them there. You might even break your clothes, your shirt might be ripped, or you might even lose things.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, after the first half year of traveling, all my clothes were gone, and I had completely new ones. Like my whole backpack changed.
So you can travel with a big backpack, but you can also travel with a smaller backpack. Our expert over here recommends the smaller backpack, but is there also another benefit to a smaller backpack except for the size?
Well, clearly it's a budget question if you book flights, and nowadays a lot of traveling is done by flights, or even if you take a bus, you usually have a luggage fee, and you can get this one down to a minimum if you have only carry-on, and save around 15 to 20 bucks per ticket.
So let's do a little recap. Travel insurance? Check. Vaccinations? Check. Backpack? Check. What's the logical next step then?
Well, it's always really important to get all the information about the visas you want to travel, and for some countries you have to apply quite a fair amount of time before you actually go, get all the documents ready, sign some papers, send them there, go to the embassy. That's a really important step because you don't want to be stuck because of a visa situation during your travels.
From the countries that you have visited, which ones of the countries actually offered you a visa at arrival?
All of them actually, except for Australia.
When it comes to Australia, Stephan has a lot to tell, and I think that's worth having its own episode. Another aspect that I just thought about right now is the budget. How much money should somebody plan in as a day by day or for the whole trip? And how did you calculate the budget?
That's a really good question. The budget calculation totally depends on how you travel. Are you going to stay in hotels, in hostels, or are you volunteering for food and accommodation? And for sure what country you are going to travel. In Southeast Asia, a lot of people recommend 1,000 euros per month, which I think is way too much. Because, for example, in Thailand, I traveled 3 months and have only spent $15 on accommodation in total.
Wow.
Through volunteering.
The volunteering sounds very interesting. We might be actually looking into creating an episode of that. So stay tuned, hit subscribe, hit that bell to be notified when we are going to get our new episode out. And now, let's get back into the planning. We have our travel insurance, we got our vaccinations, we found a backpack somewhere in our house. We even got all the visas prior to the travel, and we have identified a budget. So after we chose the flight ticket and the airline that we want to fly with, would you say it's important to maybe work out a certain route that you want to travel?
Well, if you want to stay on your budget, it's definitely important to have a route planned, especially, for example, if you start off in Thailand and just work your way down south, going through Malaysia, Indonesia, and then, for example, to Australia. This would work out really good. You could take a lot of buses on the way, which are much cheaper than a flight, or also a ferry.
So what about accommodations?
Well, I stayed a lot in hostels, which are really safe and really nice in Asia, for example. You meet a lot of other backpackers, so you're never alone. But you also have to choose what kind of hostel you want. There are like the party hostels and a little bit more quiet hostels, I would say. So if you're a party person, you want to go to a party hostel, you're going to have a lot of fun there, that's for sure. Or you're going to choose another one that is a little bit maybe off-grid, not in the city center, and where you can have a quiet night.
And did you book the hostels before?
No, never. No, you just walk in and ask for a room, basically.
So there you go, hostels. A very good alternative to the hotels. You can find them everywhere, especially in destinations in Southeast Asia, and you barely ever have to book a room. Is there anything else that the audience need to know?
Well, in terms of safety, especially in developing countries, I think it's really important to always be in touch with local people because they can tell you about places where you, for example, shouldn't go at night or at a certain time, just to make sure you're safe during your travels. That helped me out a lot.
Okay, well, that sounds amazing. I mean, that should be something that people should keep in mind, I would say, right? I guess these are all the important aspects that you need to know before you quit your job and go out for a travel. I will make sure that I will give you the full checklist in the description below. And Stephan and I will probably consider giving you some more advice in 1 or 2 more videos. And one of them would be how you could get along in your travel. If, as an example, your budget is going low, or just to be even cheaper. If you like what you saw today, smash the like button for the algorithm, share it with your family and friends, hit subscribe, especially with the little bell so you get notified when Stephan and I get a new video. And for the last words, over to you, Stephan.
Well, basically to round it all up, don't be afraid of traveling. You're only gonna gain a lot out of it. You won't lose anything. You will make friends for life and see amazing countries and cultures. So go ahead, pack your backpack and book the flight.